Hello, it's fans, and welcome to Common Affairs Gamecast. I'll be your host, I'm KG, and as you may have already noticed, I may sound a little bit different. That is partly because of the fact that I have once again changed my shoutcast setup a little bit, and it's also because of the fact that I am currently under the effects of a mild cold, a bit of a runny nose here and there, etc., etc. I may take brief pauses during the shoutcast to deal with these adverse circumstances, but apart from that, I don't think there will be any more surprises. Apart from the game, of course, a game that features diversity, playing as the Americans, and WPCSolver, playing as the Wehrmacht. The map is, of course, the old-time Langres, a slightly redesigned Langres. And it's a vanilla matchup, as I already stated, and let's go into the game and find out how this game unfolds. We're part of the 5-second mark. I'll be unpausing in 3, 2, 1, go. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So, a little bit about the players. Actually, both of these accounts fairly new, as far as their stats indicate. Diversity is also known as Dynamics on gr.org. WPCSolver is also known as simply Solver on gr.org. They have decent stats there. Both of these players hanging around the 2-to-1 win-to-loss ratio with the armies they play currently. And I expect a decent game out of it. I mean, I was drawn into this game primarily through the description. And it's a fairly interesting thing to watch, so let's see how we got there. I won't spoil it for you. Hopefully you have not been an indication of that from the replay link as of yet, hopefully, but who knows. Capping order by the Wehrmacht player favoring the east side of the map, which is always kind of nice to see, because it indicates that the Wehrmacht player has a set state of mind and what he wants to do. I mean, it's always fine as well to split that single pioneer to the other side of the map, but having that pioneers there with the support of the first folk squad is always much better than trying to scramble with your pioneer there and trying to cap at the same time while under, of course, the pressure, the arty pressure coming out of an American player. American player who sits comfortably in green cover with his riflemen, take on some folks in long range, at long range, should I say. I always had that problem with prepositions whenever I was trying to figure out at what parts of my speech I had to use them. English not being my first language, or should I say my native language, is always makes it a bit harder. Second unit out for the American player is, of course, another rifle squad, and second unit out for the Wehrmacht player is an MG. Pretty standard up to now. Wehrmacht player even tries to go for the strategic sector to the north of the American player's base, trying to cut him off from that early medium fuel point to the east. However, he does not really pay attention to the second rifle squad that is already there, and therefore he loses the house, the stone house there, by the medium munition point, and that may be a bit troublesome for the Wehrmacht player to deal with. However, he promptly responds to that. He repositions his MG42. He places his folks in green cover, though his folks have taken 2 casualties on that spot, so they are therefore kind of not so deadly as they were before. Another full squad coming out for the Wehrmacht player, and the American player seems to be keep pumping out riflemen. Nothing extraordinary there. Only thing that is out of the norm, I would say, for the American player was his emphasis on munitions instead of fuel, and by that I mean that he capped the high munition point to the west of his base before capping the medium fuel point to the westmost portion of the map. So that may be an indication of early grenades coming out of him, but that does not seem to be the case. He still goes for the 4th rifleman, and then he will get, if he chooses to get, that is, any rifleman upgrades. Minor skirmishes around the map. MG not being microed that much, mostly staying stationary, trying to cover the medium munition point there. And now that move by the Wehrmacht that actually seemed weird at first actually is explained by the fact that his pioneers were upgraded with flamethrowers, so Volks and closing in against those riflemen was actually justified. Those riflemen do have to retreat, and so do the nearby engineers. And while all this was happening, the American player keeps harassing the Wehrmacht player to his northmost medium fuel point. Some engineers there having to retreat, being suppressed by the MG42 that has repositioned and has taken its place into the wooden barn next to the stone house near the medium munition point. Riflemen jumping out of the stone house, avoiding the fire, of course, of the MG42. And this MG42 in the west may be caught off guard by those riflemen, and yes, that is the case. However, there is a squad of flame pioneers nearby, there is a squad of Volks nearby, so these riflemen may eventually have to retreat. But will they do the damage that is needed to the MG42? Yes, they do quite a bit of damage. That MG42 down to one squad member, of course, very vulnerable to dying to the next assault, and therefore the Wehrmacht player retreats immediately. We may even have a flank in the makings for the American player in the east portion of the map. That single MG42 and that 3-man Volk squad is not going to be enough to take on 3 riflemen and a single flame thrower engineer squad. And there we go, flame engineers and riflemen advancing toward the position of the MG42. However, the MG42 promptly changes targets, trying to suppress the riflemen and the engineers, manages to do so. However, riflemen still firing at it from the eastmost house. At the MG42 takes his casualty and is therefore forced to retreat. A 2-man Volk squad eventually retreating under the fire of those riflemen. Sniper is out for the Wehrmacht player, so we have an extended tier 1 play by the Wehrmacht player, having 6 units currently. Oh, never mind. It's just 5. 2 MGs, 2 Volks and a sniper. Pretty good response, I would say. However, back to the American player's base, he has set up a WSC, he is setting up a supply yard, and he's getting an MG42, and by that I mean an HMG team out of his WSC. Kind of a weird play. You don't really see HMGs being used by the American players unless there's a very specific unit composition they go against, and usually that unit composition should be infantry heavy. We don't see that much of heavy infantry play out of the Wehrmacht player as of yet, so I'm not sure about that HMG team coming out of the WSC, but we'll have to wait and see how it turns out. In the meantime, 2 squads of riflemen having to retreat, one under the fire of the MG42 of the Wehrmacht player, the other one under the fire of the sniper. And it may be a good time for the American player to stop building that HMG into the sniper. However, he does not do so. He just still opts to go for the HMG team that he moves towards the east portion of the map, most probably gonna garrison that stone house there with that HMG team. Folks trying to harass the American player on his southmost victory point, take a critical for that flamethrower or engineer, take some casualties, do have to retreat. Manpower war, I would say, kind of stabilized in after the sniper for the Wehrmacht player hit the field. Up to then, the American player had the advantage of that, on that, actually having caused some casualties on the Volks, killing a couple of members of an MG42 team. However, things seems to be okay for the time being. Will there be a sniper out by the American player? That is the question. Does not seem to be any indication of him going for a sniper at the moment being. However, the American player has revealed that he's a WC back into his base by firing with his HMG team at those folks that were trying to decap and then cap the medium munition point to the east portion of the map, and therefore the Wehrmacht player now has to be wary of a sniper coming out of the American player, a sniper that has just started being built by the WSC. A lot of fuel being accumulated back into the American player's base, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. He will of course have the option to take up to whatever he wishes should time go by, and him not having to fight against a manpower drain war that he does not want to be fighting against. But that remains to be seen how he is going to handle the sniper situation, the multiple MG42s and a couple of Volks. However, the Wehrmacht player, not being pressed by a large amount of rifleman upgrades, meaning bars, grenades, and what gives you, he has taken the time and he has invested his resources into building his tier 3, his Sturm Armory, so he may be getting some Pumas out of that. Pumas, of course, very, very efficient against WC units. They can flank MG42s, they can hunt down mortars, they can even be a very, very serious threat against the American snipers, should the sniper fire and be revealed. And we'll have to wait how the American player will respond to whenever he sees the tier 3, or should I say a unit out of the tier 3 coming out of the Wehrmacht player's base. For the time being, we may have a sniper standoff near the center of the map at the 10-minute, 01, 02, 03, 04 second mark. Couple of pioneers advancing towards their death, most probably, and the Wehrmacht player does not seem to be paying attention. American sniper is revealed, however, Wehrmacht sniper misses the shot, misses one more shot on the retreat. That first shot by the Wehrmacht sniper may actually be a misfire. I'm not so sure about that. Case in point is that the American player actually manages to retreat safely, and the Wehrmacht player will just try to find the next opportunity to kill the American sniper. A couple of flame engineers take shots from that sniper. Good focus firing there. Wehrmacht sniper being, of course, very effective against the 3-man engineer squads of the American player. And now another flanking engineer squad from the east, down to one member yet though, and sniper is getting shot at by the HMG team of the American player. Will he retreat in time? He does not seem to be doing so. However, one of the engineer squads of the American player has gone down, and that HMG team by the American player seems to be almost proved to be a hero. HMG team by getting close to killing the Wehrmacht sniper. However, now they try to kill the Puma instead. Puma, of course, will just sort of strafe the house and just continue to take shots at the HMG team. However, Puma hits a mine, very low health. Should the HMG fire at the Puma, it will kill it, and yes, that is the case. The HMG team actually proves to be a hero, with the help, of course, of a mine. HMG team gaining veterans level 1 in the process. Pretty nice to see weapon support teams getting that veterancy out of the blue. Flame pioneers housed in that wooden barn, of course, cannot fire at the HMG team, and now will take increased damage from those advancing American engineers, therefore having to retreat. Second unit out of the Sturm Armory for the Wehrmacht player is a Nebelwerfer. Now, Nebelwerfer kind of okay as a choice, I would say. There is a rather strong infantry presence on the field by the American player, although he still does not have rifleman upgrades. He still has all those 4 riflemen. He does have the static HMG team in the house, and that was, of course, the first target of the Nebelwerfer, however, with a relative to no success, I would say. Mines continue to be built by the American player. Very nice positioning as well, trying to cover the flanks to that stone house. American player kind of focusing there in this portion of the map, not really trying to deal with the west that he had for most portion of the game. Now, of course, there is a threat to that west portion of the map. Here he tries to respond. His sniper is back on the field, his riflemen are spread out mostly around the center and the west portion of the map. He even has a mortar out of the WSC, and while all this was happening, he even got his supply yard up, and he will most probably be building his next piece of tech as soon as he realizes that he does have the resources to do so. He has an engineer squad back at his base, waiting for them to build that. Riflemen advancing toward False Stranger in the west are getting lured into an MG42, and there you go, a tank depot going up for the American player at the 13-minute, 48, 49, 50, 51 second mark. A couple of engagements near the center of the map. Puma taking on some riflemen. Wehrmacht sniper revealing his position. American sniper still nearby. MG42 in the vicinity as well. American sniper has not fired as of yet, so the Wehrmacht player will have to be wary of when and where he fires his shots with his the sniper of his own. Some flame pioneers advancing towards the position of the rifleman, forcing a retreat. Puma still trying to be a pesky little annoyance to the American player. American player capping under fire, not too sure about that, not too sure why he would cap the strategic sector in the first place, but he does opt to do so, and he will most probably be retreating shortly afterwards. And yes, that is the case. Mortar is out. Mortar, of course, will be focusing down MG42 teams of the Wehrmacht player, and we just saw that MG42 taking a casualty of the squad and having to retreat against that mortar. American sniper still trying to peek into the Wehrmacht player's position, trying to find what the hell is wrong. And by wrong, I mean what the hell is going on. Wehr firing once again with relative to no success. You do need that line of sight to be a little bit more accurate. You do need a bit of luck as well. No more units, I think, coming out of the Sturmmemory. However, the Wehrmacht player has gone for the Blitz doctrine. He has his first Stormtrooper squad in the field, Stormtrooper squad that most probably will be engaging a rifle squad as well as an HMGT. They are quickly suppressed, do have to retreat, and so do the nearby Flammenwerfer pioneers. And first unit out of the tank depot for the American player is an M10 tank destroyer. M10 tank destroyer, of course, with the sole purpose of dealing with the threat of the Puma armored car. Puma promptly tries to make it back to the Wehrmacht player's base. Let's see if the M10 tank destroyer is going to decide to hunt it down. It does not seem to be doing so. Almost hitting a mine there. Still, there's a chance to hit it. No. What? So there you go. M10 escaping near death, or something in that regard. There is something being built at the Sturmmemory, and if I were to take a guess, I would say that it is, of course, a Stug. A Stug that at the time seems to be the only response the Wehrmacht player has against that M10. He could try to get some Panzerschrecks on those Stormtroopers or on another Stormtrooper squad. However, with a sniper, an American sniper on the field that is, with lots of flame engineers running around, with those riflemen, the mortar, the HMG, you know, deciding to go for 80 on a squad of infantry may not be the best choice. I would myself go for the Stug in this particular situation as well. And there comes the Stug. Nimblewerfer's firing once again. I'm not sure at which portion of the map it is firing. We'll find out soon. It's of course trying to target that stun house by the medium munition point to the east, and now with a bit more of a success than previous times. Stug has made its presence known to the... Wow! Wow, Stug actually trying to hit engineers, hitting ground, blowing up the mine that they had just built. Kind of funny to see. However, that M10 is being repaired by the engineers, and the Stug has already taken some damage. So, Stug, once again, getting driven back to the Wehrmacht base to be repaired. Some riflemen, of course, being a nuisance to the west portion of the map, once again trying to cap the strategic sector. They are under fire of the MG42. Will they pay attention? I'm not sure. Sniper kind of misses the riflemen that are suppressed. Very lucky there for the American player. Will eventually retreat and will be fine. Not many losses, I would say, on those riflemen. He does not seem to have lost any squad as of yet.